Psalm 25-14 says, "The Lord confides in those who fear him. He makes his covenant known to them." There are verses in the Bible that are not only written to be read, but to echo in the heart, like the beat of an ancient drum. When these words are spoken, I feel the air grow still, as if unseen eyes across the universe are watching and waiting. The chosen one never enters the world with noise or spectacle. They arrive quietly, appearing so ordinary that no one even notices. Yet that very ordinariness becomes a sacred cloak, hiding a power before which even heavenly hosts bow down. But mankind in its pride is always in a hurry. People mistake silence for weakness. They watch you walking through the turns of life, carrying the weight of tears and loss, and they smile, shake their heads, and think, that is all. Just an ordinary person, a small and fragile being, a plaything of fate. What they do not know is that in that very moment, the universe places an invisible seal upon your soul. A covenant older than the world itself is being awakened, and you, the one they call insignificant, are the living witness to a divine plan beyond human imagination. I remember a gray afternoon when those who once knew you gathered to talk. They spoke of you as if you were a gamble already lost. They laughed at your failures, repeating your mistakes, your stumbles. Some even wagered on the day you would finally collapse. Next week, next month, perhaps only days away. But when man places his bet against an anointed soul, the odds have never been in his favor, because you do not walk by your own strength. There is an unseen hand resting on your shoulder. There is a flame that never goes out, burning even in the deepest darkness. When they laugh, you remain silent. When they mock, you lower your head. To them it looks like defeat, but to the one who sees all things, it is preparation, like a seed buried deep in the soil, hidden from every eye. They think it is dead, but in truth, it is waiting, ready to burst forth, breaking through rock and earth to reach the light. Yes, there are moments you doubt. When the voices of mockery grow louder, when you feel left behind and overlooked, you have asked yourself, could they be right? Am I nothing more than ordinary, destined to lose? Yet in the stillness of the night, a voice within you whispers, I chose you, I know you, I am with you. And each time, your heart burns again with new strength. Not the strength of man, but the breath of a greater plan, the promise of eternity. To understand this power, imagine a group of people standing at the edge of a cliff. They look down into the abyss, then look at you, the only one still willing to step forward. They whisper, impossible. Surely they will fall. Surely they will be destroyed. But what they cannot see are the wings already spread behind you. The leap they think will end in death becomes the beginning of flight. This is why, in every generation, the chosen are misunderstood. They do not follow the world's roadmap. They do not succeed by its definitions. They move slower, stumble more, endure heavier scorn. Yet in every wound they are refined. In every silence they are given wisdom others will never understand. The true tragedy for those who bet against you is not in their attacks, but in their blindness. They believe your fall is inevitable. They even celebrate it, as if watching a play from the front row. But no one tells them, this is not your tragedy. This is the prelude to their own downfall. When they think you are ashes, the fire rises again. When they think you are gone, you return like a storm, sweeping away every word of mockery and leaving only awe in their eyes. I see an image in my mind, a crowded room where people laugh, clink glasses, and celebrate your defeat. But in the midst of their noise, a door opens. You walk in, you say nothing. Yet your presence, the light shining from your soul, silences the room. Their smiles fade. And in that silence, they realize their schemes have crumbled. You do not need to shout. You do not need to prove yourself. Truth speaks for itself. And as I think about this journey, one truth grows clear. The enemy's greatest mistake was not attacking you, but underestimating you. They thought you were ordinary. They thought your silence was weakness. But from that very misjudgment, their entire plan began to unravel. Within this story lies a quiet reminder: never despise silence. Never underestimate a hidden soul, for it may be the prelude to a storm that changes everything. So, while they laugh, they do not see that time itself is on your side. Silence is becoming your weapon, and in every moment you wait, seeds are being planted. One day, They will rise into a vast garden, and those who mocked will stand powerless, forced to taste the bitterness of their own pride. Then again, Psalm 25-14 will rise. The Lord confides in those who fear him. He makes his covenant known to them, not to the proud, not to the mockers, but to you, the chosen one, who holds silence as a sacred covenant. And in that moment, I see you, the chosen one, standing at the crossroad of two worlds. On one side, the laughter of men. On the other, the silence of the Creator. And you choose silence. You choose to wait. Because you know this battle needs no weapon, no argument. It only needs patience. And when the time comes, truth will reveal itself. They laugh, but they do not know. They celebrate, but they do not see. They gamble on your fall, but it is they who are walking into the pit they dug with their own hands. And so the story begins. But this is only the beginning. For darkness may think it is won, yet it does not know the power of silence that is growing stronger within your soul. Darkness has always been mistaken. It thinks silence means defeat. It thinks quietness is a sign of weakness. And so it rushes to conclude that your soul has burned out. But there is one truth that darkness will never face. Silence is not surrender. Silence is armor. Silence is the key that opens the door of preparation. Few people realize this. In silence, your eyes open wider. You observe, you remember. You gather every detail that your enemy overlooks in their rush to mock and parade themselves. They hurry, they boast, they talk endlessly, believing that noise is power. But that noise is only a mist, covering up the truth that they are blind. You choose to sit still. You choose patience. While they see it as proof that you are bound, in truth, you are freeing yourself from battles that are not worth fighting. Some fights are not worth words. Some arguments do not need defense, because truth never needs protection from the tongue. It rises on its own through results. Psalm 37:7 whispers into your heart, "Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for him." These words are not meant to bow your head in weakness, but to remind you that patience is the highest form of strength. In waiting, you are trained. In waiting, you gain wisdom. And in waiting, you become the storm no one expected. People often confuse silence with surrender, but the difference lies in the source. Surrender comes from fear. Silence comes from trust. When you are silent, you are not giving up. You are preparing to rise with a strength no words could ever match. I see an image in my mind. A warrior stands on the battlefield, weapon in hand, yet he does not charge. His enemies scream, provoke, throw stones, mock him, but he stands still. From a distance, it looks like fear, but no. In that stillness, his eyes are watching every movement, every breath of his opponent, every gap in their defenses. And when the moment comes, he needs only one strike, precise and sharp, to end it all. Your silence is the same. It deceives the enemy. They see no response and believe they have won. They do not know that your silence is the prelude to a symphony that will shake the earth. And when the time comes, you step forward. No defense needed, no explanations required. You rise with action, with results, with transformation that cannot be denied. Their laughter turns hollow, echoing into nothing. In that moment, they realize they were wrong all along. Silence was never emptiness. It was the pause in music that makes the melody more powerful when it begins. They see that they wagered everything on an illusion, and the illusion is shattering before their eyes. The irony is this: they thought you had lost, but you were never playing by their rules. You did not need to win every insult. You did not need to answer every blow. You only needed the right moment. And when that moment came, all their efforts dissolved into nothing. There is a strange beauty in watching arrogance destroy itself. It is like a man running at full speed, convinced that the door ahead is open, only to smash into a wall of glass. In that instant, all his confidence, all his pride, all his laughter shatters into fragments. They thought your silence was an ending. In truth, it was a beginning. They thought you had disappeared. In truth, you had only stepped back one pace to give yourself room to soar higher. I believe every soul has a sacred pause, a space where we do not need to prove, do not need to perform, but only to breathe and to wait. That pause is the fertile soil where the seeds of strength are planted, and when they grow, the world will marvel. This is why you have never truly fallen. With every silence, you grow stronger. With every unspoken reply, you gather endurance. And with every mocking voice, they unknowingly add fuel to the fire burning within you. They will ask themselves, how can this be? How can someone once silent, once overlooked, now stand tall, shining so brightly? And the answer will be, because you never allowed silence to be the ending. You turned it into the ellipsis, the continuation of a greater story. Darkness never suspected that silence itself was a strategy. It did not know that in every pause, every glance, every moment of patience, you were learning to see the whole picture. And when the vision became clear, all you needed was one step, precise and decisive, to change everything. In the eyes of those who mocked, pride will vanish. What remains is confusion. What remains is shock. They will see themselves left behind, trapped in the arrogance that once sustained them, and they will know it is too late to turn back. But you, chosen one, you walk on without looking back. For you know silence has fulfilled its purpose. It has not only shielded you from meaningless battles, but has opened the door to an undeniable breakthrough. That night the sky is still. You lift your head and look upward. The stars shine, quiet yet powerful, and you understand that your soul is the same. Silence is not emptiness, it is the sky. It is preparation. It is the promise of a dawn that is coming soon. And in that stillness, your heart whispers, I was never weak. I was only waiting for the moment to be strong, silent, but not defeated. Silent to prepare. And when the preparation is complete, every mocking voice will vanish into nothing. But soon, they will face an even harsher truth. For they did not only treat your pain as entertainment, they placed their joy upon your downfall. And from that moment, a reversal has already begun. One written in poetry and power. Their laughter rings like knives. Not carefree laughter, but laughter sharpened by contempt. They relish your stumbles. They sit in the dark, like people watching a tragic play, fixated on each fall, as if it is the only entertainment that keeps them feeling alive. In their eyes, each of your failures is a ticket to the theater. They wait, they bet, they comment. How much longer until they finally fall? How long until they give up? They assume the story has reached its final chapter, and they will witness a sad end. But they forget one thing. No one can write the ending for a soul stamped by God. Your failure is not the final chapter. It is only the middle chapter, where the hero falls to prepare for a glorious resurrection. You fell, yes. You cried. You trembled. You endured long nights when light seemed gone forever. But in those nights, a quiet power grew. Each tear that hit the ground was not wasted. It became a seed. And that seed began to sprout unseen, waiting for the day it would break the earth and rise. They laugh when you lose, but they do not know that loss is the beginning of rebuilding. They celebrate as you seem to falter, but they do not understand that in the moment you bend, you are being given new strength to stand. People often mistake a fall for the end of a journey, but for chosen souls, a fall is a springboard. It is like a bow pulled back before the arrow flies. The further it is pulled, the greater the force that sends it forward. There were times you looked in the mirror and saw tired eyes full of questions without answers. Why must I suffer so much? Why must I pass from one failure to another? And then, in the quiet, an answer whispered in your heart. Everything you endure is not to destroy you, but to refine you. Each fall teaches you how to rise. Each loss teaches you how to build stronger. That is why, when your enemies think they have a front row ticket to a tragedy, they do not realize they are sitting in a theater of resurrection. And when the second act begins, their laughter will turn into stunned silence. In that moment, a sacred sign appears, the number 555. It is not just a number, it is the seal of great change, the sign of transformation from old to new, from darkness to light. When 555 appears, it reminds you that you are not just recovering, you are being transformed. This is not a return to where you were. It is a crossing into a whole new level. If your heart feels something shifting, a stirring energy, a calling from within, let this number be confirmation. And if you are ready to step into this transformation, comment 555 below as a sacred act to affirm that you walk this path. I say this not as a slogan, but as an invitation. If this story moves you, If you feel a spark kindled in your heart, do not keep it to yourself. Share it so another weary soul, another fallen person, can hear and know they are not alone. Press like as an agreement to this journey of transformation. And if you want to be led further, to walk this road together, subscribe so we can move step by step in the light. Because your story is not only yours, it is a mirror, a torch for those who are lost. When you rise, thousands will see that they too can rise. When you transform, countless souls are awakened. One day, those who once mocked will become involuntary witnesses to your rise. They will face a raw truth. They bet on your failure, but what they receive is their own shame. Your success is not only a personal victory, it is a sacred reversal, proof that no one can destroy a soul destined for more than itself. Imagine this image, a wide field. Thousands stand watching a tiny seed buried in the earth. They laugh, they mock, they think the seed is dead. Then one morning the ground cracks. A green shoot emerges, small but unyielding. Day by day the shoot grows into a giant tree, spreading shade for all. And the laughter of old becomes astonished silence. You are that seed. Your journey is rewriting the story, so do not fear their laughter. Do not fear the mocking eyes. Let them be the soundtrack to your return. For one day those laughs will be drowned by the applause for you, and in that light you will understand they never truly laughed at you. They were laughing at their own pride. That pride will soon become the chains that bind them, while you walk free, because all the traps, all the arrows they aimed at you will not vanish into nothing. They will come back, and they will become the chains that bind their own feet, dragging them into a collapse they never expected. There are laws that no one can deny, even if they pretend not to see them. One of these is the law of energy. Whatever you release into the world will, sooner or later, return to you. People call it many names: the law of cause and effect, the law of the universe, or simply karma. But for souls that truly listen, it is divine justice. Justice that needs no gavel, no witness, only the silent but perfect precision of its movement. When they mocked you, they did more than use words. They forged invisible weapons. They crafted schemes, traps, and strategies designed to drag you down. Some spread lies, some sowed doubt, some built walls to block your way. In their minds, everything was carefully arranged. They believed that when every piece fell into place, you would have no way out. But they forgot one truth. Every weapon forged against a chosen soul fails before it is even formed. Isaiah 54:17 declares, "No weapon forged against you will prevail." This is not poetic comfort. It is the decree of the Creator, a verdict against every wicked plan. Every scheme born against you carries within it the seed of its own destruction. I see a clear image in my mind. An enemy carefully weaves a net, believing it will capture a small bird. He pours in his time and strength, tying each knot tightly, but when he casts it, the bird takes flight, and he is the one trapped in the net of his own making. While he struggles, the bird is free in the vast sky. You are that bird, and they now can only scream inside the snare they built for you. The irony is this. At first, it looked as if their plans were working. You stumbled. You felt the weight of lies. The sting of doors slammed shut in your face. They laughed, convinced their trap had succeeded. But the universe is more patient than they are. The universe knows the price must be paid, not too early, not too late, but in perfect timing. And when that time comes, every arrow they shot begins to turn back. Every lie they spread tightens around their own neck. Every plan they built becomes a burden that crushes their own soul. You do not need revenge, because justice does not require your hands. Justice is already alive in what they have sown. There were nights you fell to your knees, eyes burning with tears, asking, why does God let them win? Why does He allow them to mock and harm me? And in the silence, a gentle answer came. Be patient. Stand firm. I am letting them tie themselves with the very ropes they have woven. Yes, the beauty of divine justice is this. You need not strike back. You need not dirty your hands in retaliation. They destroy themselves with the very weapons they created. Picture this. A proud man stands on a mountain, pushing a massive boulder to crush you. But as it rolls, it never touches you. It turns, and it crushes the one who pushed it. In that moment, you stand watching, without lifting a hand, and you understand. Justice never sleeps. There is a quiet strength in letting energy move on its own. People are impatient. They want instant results, instant vindication. But you have learned to release it. You no longer waste energy in arguments or battles for who is right. You let the universe write the rest. And the universe never writes wrong. On the day truth is revealed, the enemy stands speechless. They realize they never truly won. Even when they thought you were defeated, you were only waiting. What they called victory was only an illusion. And their downfall is the reality that lasts forever. They bet on your collapse. But now, they are the ones who have lost everything. You walk forward free, radiant. They remain prisoners of their own traps, locked in the empty echo of the laughter that once filled their dark rooms. There is a strange beauty in the way justice works. It is not loud. It does not boast. It comes quietly, with precision, ruthless, yet poetic. And as you witness it, you know without a doubt you were never alone. Isaiah 54:17 echoes once more. No weapon forged against you will prevail. Those words are not only for the past, they are for you today. They are carved into your soul as proof that you are protected, that no plan, no scheme can touch the destiny set over your life. And now, as every weapon has become a chain, as every trap has become a prison, you see that this journey was never just about surviving mockery. It was always about proving a greater truth. You are chosen. You are protected. You cannot be defeated. Yet still, their arrogance has not disappeared. They still believe you have limits, that one day you will reach your end, that you will hit a final wall. What they do not know is that the wall itself will become your springboard. And in that moment, you will prove what they never imagined. You are limitless. When every trap is turned into chains, when every arrow has returned to its sender, the enemy should have known the game was over. But arrogance blinds them. They still believe you have limits. They still wait for the day you reach a wall you cannot pass. In their eyes, life is a small room. They believe everyone must eventually hit its narrow walls. And because they live trapped inside that room, they think you do too. They cannot imagine that you could walk out the door and step into an endless space, so they bet once more. They believe this is as far as you can go. They wait for you to tire, to collapse, to strike the wall, and find no way forward. But then, they are stunned. You do not stop. The wall does not block you. You turn the wall into a springboard, leaping higher, flying farther. They stand frozen, watching you rise beyond their reach, into a space they never even dreamed existed. That is when you understand a great truth. Limits do not exist on the path. Limits exist only in the mind. They are bound by fear, by doubt, by the barriers they built themselves. But you have learned to see fear as a teacher, to see trials as a furnace. Where they see a wall, you see a door. Picture this. A massive stone blocks the road. Most people look at it and sigh. The journey ends here. But you look at it and whisper, this is the step. You climb it, you stand higher, you see farther, you go further. When they think you reach the end, you have entered the realm of the limitless. It is then that another sign appears. The prophetic number 777. This is the number of spiritual awakening, the number of hidden mysteries, the number of divine revelation. It does not only tell you that you have surpassed your limits, it declares that you have entered a new dimension, a place where your soul is no longer confined by the old frame. 777 is like a bell ringing, reminding you, this is a sacred moment. This is the time your eyes open to see what others cannot see. This is the hour your soul steps into a truth greater than itself. If you are hearing these words, and your heart feels a stirring, as if something is opening, no, this is not an accident. This is the call of 777. And if you are ready, let it become your seal. Comment 777 as a declaration that your soul is ready to awaken, ready to step into infinite space. Because the truth is this, you are not bound by their beliefs. You are not limited by the smallness they place on you. You are the living proof of a destiny greater than any measure, of a potential beyond calculation. Think of the diamond. It is born under crushing pressure, in the depths of darkness. Anyone looking at the coal would think it should break apart, but instead of breaking, it transforms, becoming something rare, radiant, and unbreakable. You are the same. They thought pressure would destroy you, but pressure only made you shine brighter, stronger, unshakable. And when you walk forward, you do not walk for yourself alone. You open the way for others who are still trapped in their small rooms. When they see you break through, they begin to believe they can too. When they see you rise, they begin to believe they are limitless as well. That is the true power of the chosen one. Not only to rise for yourself, but to light the path for others. But for the enemy, this is their nightmare. They cannot grasp how you continue. They cannot accept that the limits they set no longer hold you, and so they remain in their dark rooms, imprisoned by the walls they built for themselves. They watch you, eyes wide, hearts trembling, but their feet will not move. They're bound by invisible chains, by pride, by fear, by narrowness of mind, while you walk free, stepping into skies with no ceiling, no walls, no chains. In truth, the very moment you prove yourself limitless is the moment their smallness is exposed. They lose more than control. They lose the illusion that they ever understood who you are. And that is the bitterest defeat, to realize they never truly knew you at all. When that truth shines, silence falls heavy. No more laughter, no more mockery, only confused eyes, only trembling hearts, as they watch a soul rise far beyond their reach. And you understand, this is only the beginning. For every limit broken reveals a greater space. Every wall crossed opens to a wider horizon. And this journey has no end. It expands forever, like the infinite universe itself. 777 is not only a number, it is the seal carved into your soul. It is the promise that your journey will not be confined again. It is the proof that you are awakened, that no force can ever chain you to smallness. Yet here is the irony. Even after seeing you rise, they still cling to their last arrogance. They continue to mock, thinking every step you take is misplaced. But they do not yet know that very mockery will become testimony. And one day, their laughter will fall silent as you arrive at a destiny they could never imagine. They have not given up. Even after seeing you break through the wall of limitation, they still cling to their last weapon, mockery. For them, laughter is a cheap tool, easy to use, since they cannot stop you, cannot hold you back. They choose to belittle each step you take, turning your journey into a joke, a story to gossip about, to sneer at. They see you walking a path unlike anyone else's, and they laugh. Where are they going? Why take the crooked road instead of the straight highway? Why move so slowly, stumbling, falling, then rising again? If they are really chosen, why not just fly straight into the sky? But what they do not understand is that your path was never meant to please them. It was not written for those who stand on the sidelines. It was written for your soul alone, for the destiny that was marked on you before your very first cry. They laugh when you take the long way around, but they do not know that on that road, you are learning patience. They mock when you hit a dead end, but they do not know that inside the dead end is a hidden door. They sneer when you stop to breathe, but they do not know that in the pause, you are given vision to see farther ahead. Psalm 23:3 says, "He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake." Those paths are not always straight. Sometimes they curve around mountains. Sometimes they wind along the edge of cliffs. But even the paths that seem meaningless are righteous paths, because they not only lead to the destination, they shape your soul along the way. Perhaps you once asked, why is my journey so different? Why is my path harder? But now you understand. The very difference is the proof that you are chosen. For if anyone could understand it, if anyone could follow it, it would no longer be yours alone. Picture this. An artist is painting. Outsiders look and see only random strokes, messy and meaningless. They laugh. What is this? Just splashes of color with no form, but they do not know the artist is not finished. And when the masterpiece is complete, every line, every shade becomes part of a beautiful whole. Your journey is the same. They see only single steps, small stumbles, repeated circles. They do not see the bigger picture. They do not realize that every drop of sweat, every wound, every turn is a brushstroke on a grand canvas. And when the painting is revealed, their laughter will fall silent, replaced by stunned awe. You do not need their understanding. You do not need their agreement, because your journey was never designed to please them. It was written to honor the one who called your name, to mark his seal upon your soul. There were moments when walking this path felt lonely, darkness on every side, and only their bitter laughter echoing from a distance. But deep within, you sensed a presence, gentle but unshakable, and you knew you were never walking alone. A hand was guiding you even when your eyes could not see. A voice was whispering encouragement even when your ears could not hear. They think you are walking the wrong way, but you know each step has been arranged. Every hill, every dead end, every bend, all of it is part of a perfect plan, and that plan cannot fail. That is the difference. They walk in darkness, confident they know the way, but only circling inside a maze. You may take detours, but you are still led to the destination, for you have a shepherd, a divine hand marking your way. Sooner or later the day will come, the day you arrive, the day you step out of the shadows and stand on the mountain peak. And on that day, the mockers will fall silent. They will see the full canvas, the whole journey, and realize every step had meaning, even when they thought it meaningless. You will not even remember their laughter. It will vanish like smoke in the wind. What remains is the truth. You were always on the right path, even when no one else could see it. And that truth is the real victory. Perhaps right now, still in the middle of the journey, you cannot see it all. But hold this faith. No step is wasted. No tear is meaningless. No wound is without purpose. All of it is shaping a story greater than you could imagine. And when that day comes, light will shine on the whole canvas. You will see that you were never lost. You will see that every pain was part of the plan. Every failure was a stone on the road toward triumph. This is the beauty of the sacred journey. Yet even then, even when you walk with certainty, the enemy clings to one last hope. They hope that one fall will end it all. What they do not know is this: for the chosen soul, a fall is never the end. It is always the invitation to rise again, brighter than before. They wait for you to fall. In their minds, that would be the most glorious moment. The second when you can no longer rise. When the light in your eyes goes out, they believe that once you collapse, the story is over. But they do not understand. For chosen souls, falling is never the end. It is only a pause, a comma, a silence, preparing for a greater return. You have been there, lying on the cold ground, body exhausted, heart shattered, breath heavy. Around you, darkness rejoiced, voices cheering, laughter cut through like knives. It is over. This is the end. And in that moment, you believed you would never rise again. But then, in the deepest despair, a spark appeared. Small, faint, yet unquenchable. It whispered, "Stand up. This is not where you stop. This is where you begin again." And so, from the ashes, you rose. Like the phoenix reborn, your wings spread wide, carrying scars but burning with new fire. What once was dust became fuel, lifting you higher, shining brighter. Each time you fall, you do not simply rise the same. You transform. You become stronger, wiser, more unshakable. Failure does not shrink you. It expands you. Loss does not empty you. It creates space for more light to pour in. This is what the enemy never understood. They thought you were like them. One fall and it is over. But you have lived through enough loss to know the truth. Loss is only another beginning. And in that moment, a sacred sign appeared, the number 222. It did not arrive with thunder or lightning, but with gentle silence. 222 is the number of balance, of harmony. It is the whisper from above saying, "You are not alone." Every time you felt abandoned, 222 appeared to remind you. Invisible hands were lifting you up. Angels were whispering in your ear, "Keep going." A divine current was carrying you through the storm. If you are hearing this and something in your heart resonates, let 222 be your seal. And if you know you are never walking alone, comment 222 below as a sacred act declaring you are walking in the light, together with countless other rising souls. Look back on your path. Count the times you thought you could not continue, yet you are still here. Count the times you thought darkness had won, yet light still rose. Count the times you thought you lost everything, yet in that very moment, you were given something more precious. Every fall had a reason. Every wound had a purpose. They did not come to destroy you. They came to rebirth you. They were fire that forged you, doors that carried you from the old self into the new. And now, when you look back, pain is no longer an enemy. Pain has become your teacher. You see that every fall shaped you into who you are today. Resilient, steady, radiant. The enemy cannot accept this. They saw you fall and they laughed. But when they saw you rise, they froze. And when they saw you rise transformed, they trembled. Because they realized every time you fall, you become more dangerous to darkness itself. They began to ask, how is this possible? How can someone continue after so much loss? How can a soul be reborn again and again? What they cannot see is this: you are not living by your own strength. You are living by destiny, by the breath of a greater plan. There's a quiet beauty in the way you rise. No noise, no show, only steady determination, a gentle light that cannot be extinguished. And it is this very light that makes the enemy tremble, for they do not know how to defeat a soul like yours. You have learned the secret of resilience. Falling is not your enemy, it is your ally. It is where you learn to let go, to trust, to be reborn. And once you know this truth, you become unstoppable. Picture a barren field, scorched by fire, reduced to ash. People look at it and say, nothing will grow here again. But then, from the ashes, green shoots break through, stronger, fresher, more alive than before. You are that field. You are the proof that from ashes, new life always rises. And this, the enemy never expected. They wished you would stay down forever, but each fall only makes you rise brighter. And now, they can only stand in silence, powerless, as you ascend, leaving them small in their own shadows. But still, they have not given up. This time, they will not only use traps or mockery, they will try to extinguish your light. They will try to cover the fire so you forget your strength. But what they do not know is this: the more they try to smother it, the brighter the flame will burn. When they see you fall and rise again, when they watch you burst from the ashes like a phoenix, fear quietly creeps into their hearts. They know that if you continue, your light will spread, and the darkness within them will be exposed. So they choose their final weapon. They will try to extinguish your light. No longer able to stop your steps, they whisper doubts into your ear. You are not strong enough. You are only dreaming. Who will stand with you? Where does your light even come from? Their poisonous words drip like black dew, hoping to smother the fire inside you. They build heavy curtains so you can no longer see clearly. They paint a false picture of you as small and lost. Every new obstacle, every barrier they place in front of you, is meant to make you believe your light is only an illusion, that you have no power. But their greatest mistake is this: they misjudge the source of your light. They think it comes from recognition, from status, from what you own. They believe if they strip those things away, the flame will die. But your light does not depend on the outside. It comes from the deep well of your soul, ignited by the Creator long before you were born. Your light does not go out when you are rejected. It does not go out when you lose. It burns even brighter in the darkness, like a torch blazing in the thickest night. You have heard the whisper of doubt. You have felt the darkness press from every side. But then, in the storm, a verse echoed in your heart. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. When those words rose within you, every shadow faded. You realized light needs no defense. It protects itself. You do not need to argue. You do not need to prove. You only need to keep shining, and darkness will disappear on its own. Picture this: a single candle flickers in a dark room. The enemy blows, covers, presses cloths over it, yet it will not go out. Instead, its flame spreads to other candles. From one small light, the whole room blazes. They wanted to extinguish you, but in their effort, they sparked a greater fire. You now understand. The more light is tested, the brighter it shines. Resistance only strengthens it, makes your soul more steady, unshakable. They tremble as they realize this. For all their effort, the light has not only survived, it has exploded. And now, they are the ones retreating into the shadows, trembling at a brilliance they cannot bear. The irony is clear. The more they try to silence you, the more you shine. The more they try to stop you, the further the light spreads. Until finally they are forced to face a bitter truth. Your light cannot be extinguished because it never came from you. It came from the Creator. You do not need to fear. You do not need to step back. Light and salvation are already yours. And once you walk in that light, no darkness can overcome you. There was a time you stood before the mirror, looking into your own eyes. On the surface, nothing had changed. But deep within, you saw what the enemy never could. A quiet, indestructible flame. You realized you were not just living, you were shining, and that light can never be stolen. They once believed that if they were loud enough, big enough, your light would fade. But the truth is the opposite. In the deepest darkness, light shines the clearest, and you are the living proof that light does not need permission to exist. It only needs to be itself. And now, as you walk, your light spills onto the path, not only for you, but for those who wander in the shadows. Other souls, once locked in darkness, see you and remember they too carry light. Your brilliance becomes the reminder that darkness never had the final word. The enemy watches, powerless. They see their own shadows exposed, their smallness laid bare. They want to turn away, but they cannot, because your light not only shines, it reveals the truth they worked so hard to hide. And you know, this is not the end. This is only the beginning. For you are not playing the same game as they are. While they count their moves like pieces on a small board, you are building something far greater, a legacy, a light that will endure. And in the end, while they cling to their illusions of winning, they will face the truth. They never understood the game you were playing. In the darkness, they smile with pride. In their minds, life is nothing but a game of chess. They believe they are smarter, more cunning, more strategic. They calculate every move, every word, every small trick, convinced that a single mistake from you will end the match. To them, life is a series of short-term moves. Today they push you down. Tomorrow they step higher. Today they spread rumors. Tomorrow they collect the gain. Their world revolves around quick victories that only serve to feed an inflated ego. But they do not know you were never playing chess with them. You never sat at that table, because you are living in a different space, where life is not measured by small wins, but by what remains at the end, a legacy, a mark that cannot be erased. You are not watching the chessboard. You are looking at the sky. While they move pieces from one square to another, you are building another world, a kingdom that cannot be shaken. And when they finally look up, they realize with horror, they may have won a few meaningless moves, but they have lost the whole of life. An image appears, a sculptor day by day, chiseling a block of stone. Outsiders see nothing but dust and wasted effort. They laugh. What is he doing? Just breaking a useless rock. But over the years, each strike shapes a figure. And when the statue is finished, what was mocked becomes a masterpiece, leaving the crowd in stunned silence. You are that sculptor. While they rush after fleeting games, you are patiently shaping something lasting, something that will endure long after their laughter fades away. They do not understand. True strength is not in quick tricks, but in long vision. They do not see that short victories feed arrogance, but temporary failures feed endurance, the strength of a soul. You are not here to win today. You are here to outlast forever. You are not concerned with momentary wins and losses, because you know legacy takes time, and once it is built, it is not just a victory, it is eternal proof. There was a time you asked yourself, why do I not respond? Why do I not strike back when they scheme? And then you understood. Because you are not on the same board. You are not bound by their rules. You are writing your own. The laws of light, of truth, of values beyond their reach. They think they are clever in their deceit, but in truth, they are prisoners of their own small game. For when you play a greater game, you do not need to defeat them. You only need to keep building, and time itself will prove you right. Picture this: a castle built from sand upon the beach. Children cheer, believing they have built a kingdom. But when the tide comes, it all dissolves. Meanwhile, another person is laying stones, brick by brick, quietly building a fortress of rock. No noise, no show, but when the storm comes, the fortress still stands. You are that fortress, and their castles of sand will soon wash away with the waves of time. That is why you do not argue. You do not waste energy on small games. You remain steady with your vision, with the legacy you are creating. And one day, when it is complete, no one will be able to deny it. What hurts them most is not that you win. What breaks them is that you never lost, because you were never even playing their game. Their victories are meaningless beside the legacy you leave behind. And in that moment, truth will stand clear. While they were busy chasing small arguments, you have already won the whole of life. While they drained their souls for short-lived glory, you turned your journey into everlasting light. There is a sacred silence when this realization arrives. For universal justice is never rushed. It allows them to think they are winning. It allows them to enjoy their illusion. But when the curtain falls, the truth appears. And that truth has always belonged to you. You are not playing chess. You are building a kingdom. And that kingdom cannot be destroyed. But while you patiently build, another force is also at work. A force they never believed in. It is the rhythm of the universe, the law of divine justice, the law that humanity knows by one name alone, karma. And when karma arrives, it does not knock gently. It comes with ruthless precision. There are laws that never need to be written, yet they govern the whole universe. One of them is the law of reaping and sowing. It moves quietly, like a heartbeat, without noise or display, but when it arrives, no one can escape. People call it by many names: karma, the law of energy, or simply cause and effect. But one truth always remains: those who sow the wind will reap the storm. Your enemies have sown much. Every lie they spread, every trap they set, every satisfied glance when you stumbled, all of it has been recorded, not by men, but by the universe itself. No drop of energy ever disappears. It only waits for the right moment to return. When they laughed at your pain, they thought they were safe. When they built their walls, they thought they were invisible. But the law of the universe never forgets. It watches silently, patiently, and when the wheel turns, retribution comes with chilling precision. Proverbs 26-27 declares, "Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and if someone rolls a stone, it will roll back on them." This is not a fairy tale to scare children. It is truth proven through every generation. Whoever digs a hole for another will one day fall into it themselves. And the most beautiful part is this: you do not need to lift a hand. You do not need revenge. You do not need to fight for vindication. Karma does that for you, with an accuracy beyond anything you could imagine. Picture this. They smile in false confidence, believing their plan is perfect. Yet one by one, the pieces they built turn against them. Lies they spoke no longer trap you. They bind their own mouths. The traps they laid do not devour you. They slam shut on themselves. You stand still, doing nothing. Justice unfolds before your eyes, poetic to the point of irony. And in that moment of their realization, it is already too late. They once thought you would be obsessed with revenge. They thought you would collapse chasing broken pieces. But you let go. You chose silence. And in that silence, karma moved. Without your effort, justice still came. That day, you lift your head and see the sky wide open. No more heavy shadows, no more mocking voices, only peace in your heart. Because you know you do not need to fight. You only need to stay faithful, and the universe will handle the rest. For them, it is terror, because nothing is more frightening than facing the harvest of your own seeds. You can escape people, you can escape enemies, but no one escapes the justice of the universe. It flows like a river, never rushed, never stopping. And when it arrives, it sweeps away everything. See the image. A man proudly builds a castle from bricks of lies. Each brick a false word, each brick a cowardly act. When the castle is finished, he stands at the top, laughing loudly. But soon the bricks tremble, the walls collapse, and he is crushed under the weight of his own deceit. For the foundation of lies can never stand. Meanwhile, you remain standing. Not because you fought back, but because you released it. You left justice in the hands of the righteous one. And because of that, your soul is free. Karma not only exposes truth, it teaches a sacred lesson. You do not need to answer everything. You do not need to waste energy proving yourself. Truth can be hidden for a time, but it can never be buried forever. And when it rises, it shines so bright, it blinds those who once mocked you. Those who thought they had the front row seat to your downfall become the unwilling actors in their own tragedy. And their only audience is divine justice, an audience that never misses a single detail. You do not cheer when you see them fall, because your soul has learned that justice is not revenge. Justice is balance. You simply stand there, quietly, a witness to an ancient law at work. And in that silence, you realize you have grown. Their downfall is not your victory. It is only the natural consequence of what they sowed. Your real victory lies in this. You never allowed darkness to turn you into them. You never let hatred chain your soul. That is true freedom. Yet the journey does not end here. For while karma sweeps them away, you are learning another lesson. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is the catalyst for your evolution. While they stayed trapped in comfort, standing still in their false security, you, through pain, have evolved into a version they will never comprehend. Pain, the very thing the world avoids, has been your greatest teacher. It once crushed you, brought you to your knees, but it was also the furnace that forged you into steel. Without it, you would be like them, comfortable, safe, but empty, stagnant, going nowhere. Look at your enemies. They live inside a cocoon of comfort. They have never touched the depths of loss, never tasted the salt of tears in the long night. And because of that, their souls never grew. They stayed with what was easy, believing it was safe, believing it was lasting. But the truth is this: comfort only breeds stagnation. You, on the other hand, were thrown into the fire, drowned in trials, yet transformed. Every fall taught you a lesson. Every loss opened a new door. Every moment of endurance revealed a strength you never knew you carried. Picture a seed. If it stays on the table, dry and safe, it will never grow. But when buried in dark soil, pressed down, hidden under weight and dampness, that is when it breaks open. That is when life begins. You are the same. In the darkness, you found new life. That is why you evolved. You are no longer the person you once were. You have been remade, reshaped, forged into a version they cannot recognize and will never catch up to. And this is their bitterest truth. While you evolve, they remain stuck in the same loops, circling the same habits, the same small thoughts, the same limitations. They repeat their stagnation until it becomes chains. Trapping them inside a cage they built themselves. You, in contrast, broke free. Each pain became a drill, carving a new passage. Each loss became a hammer, shattering another wall. And now, you have stepped out of the small box they chose to live in. The image is clear. A snake shedding its skin. It bleeds, it aches, but it must. For if it does not shed, it dies. Your pain was also shedding, and now you have emerged, stronger, radiant, no longer confined by the old. They look at you and cannot understand. Who is this person? Why are they no longer the same? They are confused because the version of you they once knew is gone. What stands before them now is a new being, untouchable, unshakable, uncontrollable. And you understand, this evolution is not just for you. It is proof for anyone listening right now that pain is not the end. Pain is fire. Pain is training. Pain is the doorway to a higher version of yourself. This is what makes them tremble. They realize all the things they despised in you, the tears, the failures, the wounds, have become the very power that lifts you higher. While they cling to comfort, you embrace pain and turn it into wings. The truth is undeniable. They were wrong every time they bet against you. They bet you would fall. You rose. They bet you had limits. You broke through. They bet pain would destroy you. Pain made you unbreakable. Now they are left with only obsession, because every step you rise, every time you shine, forces them to face themselves in the mirror. And in that mirror, they see nothing but stagnation, smallness, and ruin. You evolve. They decay. And the distance grows wider until it becomes a chasm they can never cross. And in that widening gap, another truth emerges. Because as you evolve, you not only escape their control, you become something they can never escape, a living reminder. From this point on, they will never stop seeing you. And every time they do, they will be consumed by regret. But your journey is not over. Ahead, the light burns brighter, the rise grows stronger, and every step you take, every time you ascend, will cut deeper into their pride, until they are left to live their lives haunted by one truth: you cannot be stopped. They no longer laugh. The laughter that once cut like knives now echoes only in memory, turning into shame and regret. They no longer clap when you fall, because they have learned that every fall was only a springboard. Now, they are silent. Silent as they watch you rise beyond every limit they once tried to place on you. Each step you take, each victory you claim, cuts into their souls. Not because you wanted to hurt them, but because your light has exposed their darkness. There is nowhere left for them to hide, because truth shines too brightly. They are haunted by your image. Every time they see you, they are reminded of their failed bets, of the opportunities they lost, of the small prison they chose while you rose to become a living symbol. They want to look away, but they cannot. Your light is everywhere, in stories told, in memories that linger, in the reality unfolding before their eyes. You have become something they never dared to imagine. Living proof that the human soul can break every chain, overcome every shadow, and transcend every limit. And in that moment, you understand. Your journey was never about proving them wrong. It was about meeting yourself. It was about stepping into the legacy that was written for you before your first breath. Look around. Souls who once wavered are standing again because they saw you. People who once thought they were alone now find hope in your light. They are not only watching, they are walking, because they now believe that rebirth is real. You no longer need to say much. Your very presence is the testimony. The way you live, the way you stand, is the message echoing in every heart. You can too. You are chosen too. You carry light too. Your legacy is not in short victories. It is in this ripple, this spreading light that robs darkness of its power and forces those who once mocked you to admit the truth. They were wrong, completely wrong, but you do not stop at proving them wrong. You go further. You step into complete freedom, where the past no longer chains you, where wounds no longer hold you, where their voices no longer haunt you. You have risen above it all, and in that moment, you feel a strange peace. No more anger, no more desire for revenge. Only light, only love, only gratitude. You realize that without your enemies, you would never have become who you are today. Without the falls, you would never have learned to fly. This is the paradox of destiny. Those who thought they were destroying you were actually building you. And when this truth dawns on you, you can only smile, release it all, and let your soul soar free. A sacred silence surrounds you. Not the silence of despair, but the silence of victory. A victory that needs no applause because it resounds in every breath you take, in every step you walk. Then you lift your eyes and see the sky wide open. No walls, no ceiling, no limits, only the vast sky waiting for you. And you understand, you are only beginning. This journey has no end because light always finds new ways to shine. And in that moment, a blessing rises in your heart. May this light reach every soul listening, so they know they too are chosen. They too are protected. They too can rise from ashes and fly high. May every heart find courage to keep walking. Every eye find light to see clearly. And every soul find peace beyond understanding. And if you are hearing these words now, know this: you are not here by accident. This journey has found you because you too are on the path of becoming your true self, a radiant being no one can extinguish. If this light has touched you, leave a sign. Write what your heart feels in the comments. Share this story so another soul in the dark may see it. And remember, they are not alone. Press like as a confirmation to yourself that you are ready to walk in the light. And if you want to keep being guided, keep growing on this path. Subscribe so we can walk together, so we can rise together. Because the truth is, this is only the beginning. The light within you does not stop here. It will spread further, shine brighter, reach beyond every shadow. And as you walk, the universe walks with you. You are the chosen one. You are the living proof. You are the light that cannot be put out. And this story was never only yours. It belongs to all of us. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.